In today's video, we are using the Dollar Tree vinyl, no cutting machine required, to create some gorgeous Christmas DIYs you are going to love, as well as some hacks and tricks that you need to know whenever you pick this up. Please leave me a big thumbs up and let's get on into crafting. For this first project, we are using a little rainbow that you can pick up at Dollar Tree to make a DIY like winter hat or Christmas hat. I also cut down one of these pieces of wood just to match the bottom. This all came from Dollar Tree. I did have to use my table saw or miter box just to get that cut down, but you also could leave it the same size that it came in, just having a little bit of extra space on the edges. And then, believe it or not, you can actually use iron-on vinyl on wood or MDF pieces just like this. You just have to be a little bit extra careful with it. So I'm taking my rainbow, and it was the perfect shape to create the top of the hat. So I'm tracing it out on the back of the iron-on vinyl and then cutting this down so that it will go ahead and fit and not have to trim it a lot afterwards. Get it all cut out, and then I'm using my Cricut heat press, but you also could use just any regular iron that you have. Just like read the instructions and make sure that you're doing it right or you have the right temperature settings. But I just heat up the MDF just a little bit because it just helps it to stick a little bit, and then holding it down for 30 seconds until it's nice and adhered to the wood or the MDF piece, and then you remove the plastic coating that was on the top, and then you're left with this beautiful little piece. Now it does draw up on the edges a little bit whenever you are applying it to like a wooden piece like this, but I still feel like it gives it a really cool effect. I don't mind the bottom looking like that. I attached a little pom-pom from Dollar Tree to the top to make this look like a real knit hat, and then painted the bottom wood piece to match. After that was nice and dry and I sanded it down so the edges show up, I'm gluing it to the bottom. I got my glue a little bit too far to the edge, that's why I scooted it sideways. And then I love these little snowman stickers. I've been using them so much lately. I just wanted to add a little accent piece to this knit hat, but I feel like it is the perfect size to add there. This would be gorgeous in blue colors, making it last like on into January, into the winter months, but just a really cute, fun project and a unique way to get to use the little rainbow. I wanted to share with you another fun hack to get to use this vinyl without a cutting machine, and that is to actually create your own like custom stickers. So I picked up one of these Wi-Fi signs or welcome signs. They have these in different shapes, but I used these on a little light project that I loved so much I knew I had to use it again. I found this gorgeous blue glittery vinyl paper out at Dollar Tree, and I loved it so much that I had to cut it down to size. So a lot of you all complain actually using this vinyl with the Cricut mats, so I'm not even going to go there. I'm not even going to get out the Cricut or try to use it. I wanted to share some fun projects even if you don't own a cutting machine. But you can make custom stickers by picking up any of the Dollar Tree poster stickers. Now I do like to stick these to a washcloth or even your t-shirt a couple of times so it's not super sticky, and then put it down on the vinyl, and then you can cut around it and have your own custom sticker in this gorgeous blue glittery vinyl. If you don't stick this to a washcloth or your t-shirt first, it is too sticky and it will leave the white like sticky residue behind whenever you pull it off. I don't even mind that it's not sticking super well. I just kind of hold it in place and then continue to cut out each letter. Now to go ahead and cut out the middle of each letter, I like to fold it in half and cut it if it is like a circle or zero, but for other letters that you can't exactly do that, you can just cut through one little piece and it will stick back in place. I do that later on with the cocoa, but I'm putting hot cocoa. I wanted to make a little sign for the cocoa bar. I did trim down the O's for the cocoa just so they were a little bit slimmer and would fit together, so I went ahead and did that with the top piece and then just removing the backing and sticking them down in place. Obviously, I had to fix up this hot cocoa sign. It looks a little bland just with the letters on there. I love these glittery snowflake stickers. I'm using them on everything. So I just kind of alter like the small ones and the big ones. I love how it looks whenever you like leave them hanging off. And then I soon realized that it would waste them. So I cut them in half and just kind of used more that way. But I love how it looks. This gives it a fun border and then cut away all of the excess. But this is a really cute little sign that you could add to your cocoa bar. So I have tons of this colorful vinyl, and I had a really fun idea to cut down some light bulbs so it would make some cute like colorful Christmas bulbs. So the first thing I needed was a sign. So using one of these wooden signs from Dollar Tree, I go ahead and paint the middle white just so everything has a nice blank canvas and it'll show up really good. I am using some red and green, but I add in some glittery gold ones too. I felt like it really needed that third color. And then just kind of freehanding a little light bulb and using that for my template. And then I soon discovered just to stack up the vinyl and cut out several at one time. I didn't get the perfect shape doing this, so I did trim a few of them up and shape them a little bit more. I knew I needed a strand for all of these light bulbs, so just added a thicker piece of baker's twine that I had on hand, and then just started playing around with them and putting them in order. It was so much fun going back through and removing the backing and actually sticking these down. These stick really well to like porous or chalky surfaces, so this chalk paint worked really well for it. I have noticed that this Dollar Tree vinyl doesn't always stick to like slick surfaces very well, or something that I don't know, it can't adhere to, and sometimes I do go ahead and Mod Podge over it if I'm a little bit nervous about it. But so far, all of these projects today, they stuck really well, so I'm going to leave it as is. I painted the little like casing black for the bulb, or the little holder, the socket for the bulb black, just to kind of give it a little bit of a like more realistic look, and then took some of this twine, and I wasn't able to like make it as flowy as it was when I originally laid it out, so I just followed the bulbs and glued it to each one, and then went through with a little bit of white paint so that they looked like they were really shining, and then added a word to the bottom. I like to paint it black just because it's so reflective. Sometimes I feel like it doesn't like show up very good, or it's harder to read. And then I just tack this down with a little bit of hot glue on a few of the letters and glue this down in place. But I feel like this is a gorgeous sign. My daughter already asked if she could put it in her room, but it turned out really cute. One of my favorite things to do with vinyl is to actually fix up candles or jars that you can light candles inside. I picked up these from Walmart. I just feel like you get such an upgrade going to Walmart and getting nice jar candles versus the mini ones at Dollar Tree. So I measured and saw that I need about 1.5 inches of a strip that would fit all the way around the candle. So using my ruler, I go ahead and measure down 1.5 inches, several places on this piece of vinyl, and then I can make a straight edge, cut it out, and then fix it up. Now you could leave this as is just to add the color to the jar, but I just wanted to add in a little bit of extra detail. So I'm going to be cutting out the star in the middle of this and then cutting it out with my scissors. So I go ahead and trace a star, and it is awful close to the edge. I'm not really worried about that. I just make sure when I cut it out, I'm just being as careful as I can, but it looks really cool having the hole so that the color of the candle peeks out. So this project just takes a couple of minutes to cut out that little strip, but I attached it to the candle and then added a few little accents to the top. I tied around some more baker's twine, and then for the other one I had picked up some really fun little garland from Walmart in like their mini tree section, so I add that to the top. So whatever that you want to put around there, it really wouldn't matter, but I feel like it just adds so much. Of course you want to be careful and not put anything too close to the flame. Make sure that you always like monitor it. But I don't feel like I'll be lighting these up very much, just putting them in like tiered trays, but I think it just adds so much rather than just having a plain candle. Next, I wanted to DIY a really fun like gingerbread man cutting board. I know Dollar Tree doesn't always put out the best cutting boards. You really have to luck out to find some. I still wish that I had some of the wooden ones that I had earlier this summer that I kept making over, but even if all you can find is this little bamboo one, you still can make it really cute. So I'm taking a piece of white vinyl and just kind of freehanding a little gingerbread man on here, and then I cut it out and just use the remaining piece of vinyl for a stencil. So a really fun hack is just to draw like half of whatever you want, cut it in half, and then you can get it very symmetrical, or a little bit more symmetrical than if I would have just freehanded the entire thing. But I feel like it came out really good. I was able to set that to the side, and I'll use that on a future project. But for now, just putting this down, and it makes the perfect like sticky stencil. Like I say, it doesn't like stick 100% perfect to like pieces like this. This bamboo is really porous and kind of rough, so it does want to pull up, but it's stuck long enough for me to just use it as a stencil, which is what I intended to, and then just pull it right back up. And then I am using a sponge, so it had a few little bubbles in the paint, so I'm just going over that just to kind of pop the bubbles and give it more of a smooth finish. And then went ahead and wrapped this in some little baker's twine at the top and the bottom just while it dried before I add my icing or paint on the top of the gingerbread man, and I feel like it gave it the perfect pop of color. Next, I am using some puffy paint for my little gingerbread man. I'm just trying to be super careful, go around all of the edges, and then add in some extra detail. I really like the way it looks just with the white paint, but you could feel free to add in like any colorful things. I added a little bow to the top, just adding 3 dots, and then glued a burlap bow to the top, this just using dollar store ribbon. But I feel like this is the cutest little thing, would be perfect to add to a tier tray or your dining area. But I could just imagine some like fake little cookies around this, maybe add this to your hot cocoa bar. But one of my favorite projects from this video. And then one of my favorite ways to use the vinyl is to actually like make striped vinyl myself and then use it for whatever I want it. So I've done this before to create some fun hearts and use like girly colors for my kids' rooms, but I wanted to make a candy cane version. I have this little wooden ruler that is about 1 inch wide, and that's what I'm using to get the perfect size strips. You can use an X-Acto knife if you have your mat out, but for now I'm just cutting this with scissors. I didn't worry about it being 100% perfect, but cut out several strips, and then I'm taking a piece of parchment paper, or you can use wax paper to like line them all up or stack them all up and get the perfect striped vinyl. So I do like overlay this quite a bit, so you do want to cut them wider than you want because they really need to adhere to each other to stay together to get it transferred onto your project. So I'm covering up about 50% of it and then keep going until I get a full sheet, and then you can cut whatever you want out of it. I wanted to make an art sign or art piece on a large wooden sign, I picked these up from Walmart. They're very inexpensive, but they're more expensive than the Dollar Tree ones. You can feel free to use a Dollar Tree one or just a normal sign. But I gave it a white base just so everything would show up nice, and I was worried about this vinyl sticking to just raw wood. So I end up cutting out a little freehand candy cane. It doesn't look the best. I know it was too short, so I did go ahead and leave it longer at the end. Cut these out and then stick it on the wooden slice. And then I'm using the paper backing because I want this to be exactly the same, so I'm forgetting about my little template that I made, but using the actual one I cut out, I'm putting it the opposite direction and going to cut it out again so that I can make them like back to back and look like the little crossed candy canes. I add a little jute twine bow to the middle, but you can make mini versions of these. I know Dollar Tree has out the little wooden slice right now with the hole at the top. You can make these mini to go on your tree. I love little pieces like this just to be on like plate stands and be shelf setters. I feel like it needed a little bit of extra detail, so added my little squiggly lines around the edges. That's one of my favorite things to do, but I feel like it is the perfect little piece that looks really cute displayed. Thank you all so much for checking out today's video. Let me know in the comments down below which project was your favorite, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy crafting! Bye!